My goodness gracious. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, guys. Welcome to Live with Jacqueline Valdez. I'm super excited to be here today. Super honored for our next guest. So we are going to be talking to an amazing being. She is super supportive of others, really wanting to help people be the best that they can be. She is a professional in Nuerotransformational coaching. Woo! Today is just one of those days. So I'm super excited to have her here. Super honored, Miss Coach Ayesha.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, super excited to have you here. It has been a crazy day today. How's it been for you?
You know, I think our stars are in alignment because it's been a little bit like up and down, crazy for me. But
Yes.
we're here, and we woke up today, and everything else can be figured out.
Yes, I love it so much. Yes, I feel like I am such a huge believer in the universe and manifestation and energies and just being, like you said, in alignment and stuff. So I just felt so drawn to you, and I was like, we have got to have a conversation.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yes. So tell me and tell the viewers about yourself.
Okay. My name is Ayesha, and I'm known as Coach Ayesha. And as I always say with my clients, Coach Ayesha when I'm being nice and professional, Coach Ayesha when I got to get really real and really raw with you.
I love it.
Yes, I'm a life coach. I specifically work with neurotransformational coaching. It's a style of coaching that was created by Coach Sean Smith, and he kind of took the basis of NLP and created another form of coaching that really do like the internal work. So it's really based on that your external beliefs and external behavior that happens all comes from internal beliefs, traumas, identities, things like that. And so when you do neurotransformational work, you're really just transforming from the inside out.
Wow. Yeah. And I love the whole philosophy of like the mind and the body being connected. And there's certain traumas that happen that you don't really realize that really affect your body and that linger on and affect future relationships and your future life.
Yes. I mean, like, it's literally like one of the things we coin and say, like, we're literally grown 5-year-olds. So, so when you see you're having an argument with somebody, you see people reaching out, if you really look at their like 5 and 6-year-old self, it's like, oh, okay, I get it. You're screaming for something usually that you develop this identity or story, and you're just responding out of that. So it's definitely true. So,
wow.
That's what we work on. And so a lot of people usually they like, I need to get my life together. I need a life coach. Help me get a man, or I need a job, or I need to get organized. And you're like, okay. And so they think you're going to like show up and okay, so let's get you a schedule, which we do.
Okay.
But it's always deeper than that. It's just like, how you get motivated, you get a good book and you read it and you're like, okay, I got it. I'm going to get my life together. I'm doing this. And then you do it for 2 weeks. So then something happens and you have a night, and then you look up and you're right back to where you started before. It's usually because it's a belief or beliefs or the system inside of you that's like doesn't align with what you think you want as the outcome. So
I love that. I love that you said that it doesn't align. I feel like that's such a huge gem that you dropped. It's so important to have that alignment with what is going on with your mental, health and with your lifestyle, and everything has to be aligned.
It does.
Yeah.
At least it's supposed to be. I would say most of us are walking around misaligned. Even me sometimes, I'm not. The reason why I'm getting better and better, and I'm pretty good at what I do, is because I constantly work on my own self. All day long. I'm the experiment, and I'm like, oh, okay, that shifted, that worked for you. Okay, cool. Now you can go try this on somebody.
I love it. That's so true. Same thing with my interviews is I meet so many incredible, inspiring individuals, and it's like gems that I learn from every person that I talk to. It's like, oh my goodness gracious, you've inspired me. I need to like see if I could apply this to my life and make improvements.
it's the interconnectedness.
Yeah.
The more and more I do this work, it really makes you realize that we are all the same.
Yeah.
I don't care where you come from, how much money you make, what background you're from, what's your prestigious status in life, anything. We still all have traumas, and somehow or another, our parents accidentally screwed us up a little bit.
That's so true. Oh my goodness.
Stuff that just happens, and the more you're like, oh, and so like when I heal, you heal.
Yeah.
And when you heal, I heal. Or when you get some self-awareness, I get more self-awareness. And no matter what, it's all energy. So really,
that's so true. So how did you get into this? How did you know you wanted to do this? And how did you follow this passion of yours? I love it.
Which is so funny. So I particularly work with coaching for kings. So my particular niche, and I do work with everyone. So I have male clients, female clients, all races. And I, even people with different binary backgrounds and everything. So the thing is, I specifically chose to go in this for coaching for kings is my niche, my passion is working with Black men. And so that's why I coined it Coaching for Kings. And I just noticed that in the Black male community, there was a lack of space and support where men could have a safe space to do their work or even feel okay to do their work or even reach outside of themselves anyway. So I kind of wanted to coin that with all the stuff that goes on within the Black community, especially the Black male community. They have an extra amount of stress, extra amount of trauma that's a lot of times unrelatable for other people. So even when they would reach outside of themselves, they didn't feel understood.
Right.
So I wanted to really dig deep and get as much understanding and work as I'm developing the program. And I'm still working. It's still a work in process, but I'm still doing it at the same time, if that makes sense. Like I was going to launch, but I did some more training. So I was like, I want to launch a little bit later, but I'm still working with clients, putting out things and still branding and all. So I'm still a new business owner, and this is still a new practice for me, but I am actually working and building at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's why I really went for it, because I just wanted to provide that space and to really give and I wanted to make it where Black men just like they could feel okay to be heard and be vulnerable in a moment in a space, and it can start to become more of a norm where you don't have to have the stigma of being this man and you can't feel and you can't express yourself or you can't ask for help. You could be a human. And that's kind of why I really coined it. And this is funny because, so I decided to launch my business last year during COVID. Of course, we all did our deep dives and
right.
What am I going to do in my life? And then I had some personal relationships that were affected. And that's when I really was seeing it more and more in my face of how Black men would deal with their stress and their trauma from my spouse and my fathers and my brothers and all my siblings and the men in my community. But I remember, so back in about 2007 or 8, I used to be a stripper.
I saw that. Okay.
Yes, I did. And I remember it was so funny because I had a very, very loyal clientele, but they used to come to dump. And the loyal ones, not the ones who just come to party for once, but I'm saying the people who used to come, they came for an escape and to dump. And it was really interesting because my clients would come for me for like life advice. And they're like, and I'll sit there with my little cute outfit on. And they're like, no. I'll pay you to sit here and we'll talk. And I started like coaching people in a strip club.
I love it. Hello, Sunshine. Thank you for tuning in. Sunshine says, wow, I love it.
So you know how life is full circle and it all kind of like plays and you're like, oh, that's why. And it was so funny because I would literally be at work trying to get money and guys would be like, okay, here's $200. Just sit here with me for like an hour. And I'm like, okay, cool. I don't have to dance. I'll sit here and drink. We'll talk. And we'll talk about life advice, wife, jobs, relationships. And I didn't realize at the time what I was doing, but it really made me feel good when people left like, oh my goodness, you really helped me. And I got a different perspective. And at the time, didn't think about it. But it
Yeah.
was anybody asked me, I'm like, you know what? It started then. That's when I really realized the need for so many men, because I was a safe space.
Yeah.
I couldn't harm them in any way. And they felt,
Wow.
well, I'm safe to open up.
And it's crazy because, you know, I have known, like you said, male friends, male partners, where they do go through like a depression, and it's really hard for them to talk about their emotions and their feelings. But then the last year, as I've been doing a lot of interviews on my show, and then I also interview for Sheen Magazine, My Second Family, shout out. I've realized and heard how hard it is for the Black community in general, and especially Black men, to talk about emotions, to have that safe space, to talk about these things is just not available at all. So I'm so excited that you're stepping out and you're using your platform to make a difference. Sunshine says she's heard about the show, HBO, that documented strippers, that sometimes the loyals just want someone to talk to. Same thing with millionaires. I had one tell me that years ago. Yeah.
It's really true. Interesting. And it was so fun. I was talking to my cousin yesterday, and she was saying, we're just having a conversation, and she was saying, yeah, people just want to be seen, heard, and understood. And I was like, that's so simple but so profound.
Yeah.
And other like some women, I feel like we're more heard, or we feel more heard a lot of times, because not all, but a lot of times we force you to hear us. You're going to hear us.
You're going to hear us. Period. Hello, Casper. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you guys here.
Yeah, it is so. And you know what's so funny is that it's so, but it's okay. It's okay. It's not nothing wrong to express yourself as a woman. You know, you're not deemed weak, or not being able to be a leader, or all these different crazy like stigmas and ideas that men have on them, just men in general, than Black men, with all the other crap that goes along with being a Black man. So yeah, I want my goal, and I say this, I said I want to touch 100,000 Black men. So that's just my goal. It's just a number that came to me. I feel like it was downloaded. Like, you have to at least touch 100,000 Black men.
Wow.
Well, my theory would be, if I could do that, it could change, and you will do inner work. So you're working on your inner self, and it's just going to spread. It's going to affect their families. It's going to affect their children, their wives, their lovers, and however which way it affects them, it's going to spread. And if I could touch 100,000 Black men, then possibly it'll touch 500,000, and possibly just keep spreading. And so that's how we can really see shifts in our world, when people really learn who they are and really live out of their greatness. So
yes, it's like a domino effect. You know, one person is affected, and then everyone around that energy gets changed.
Yes. And I think just building an environment, and building a habit, and building a lifestyle of inner work, because it's a lifestyle. It's something you'll be doing for the rest of your life. Just constantly improving, tweaking, letting go, adding new, things like that. So, once people get comfortable with the unknown, which is you never really get comfortable with the unknown, but
that's true. That's very true.
But once you start to build the habit that it's okay to jump into the unknown, you're able to start at least doing the work. And not like you feel life or death, like, oh my God, I can't change because.
Yeah. And I love that you took, like you said, the full circle, that you had, these past experiences, and you listened to the universe, and you took the fact that, like, okay, I'm having these conversations. These are really good conversations. I'm affecting people's lives. Maybe this is something I'm meant to do. Maybe this is what my energy is meant to help other people. Because a lot of people kind of don't tune into that. They don't listen to what the universe is like trying to give them their purpose.
I was blessed, and I will say this because I always feel like you have a choice in which way you interpret your life. And so a lot of times, any conflict that you have, any triggers, anything that is bad, know that really is good. Every trigger is a call. It's a call. It's a call for you to look internally and see why this is triggering you. Or every situation in life, even things as hard as death, or things that you feel like you can't come from, or major trauma, or et cetera. So last year, right before COVID hit, I'm a flight attendant. I still fly. But I haven't been back to work. So I'm gonna tell you why. So last year, right before COVID hit in March, I was on a cruise with my family and I was wind up tearing my ACL. So I tore my ACL and it happened literally 1 week before COVID hit and the world just shut down and went crazy.
Right.
So they considered my injury an elective surgery. It said this isn't a life or death, injury, so we can push it back because there was so many people filling up the hospitals, and we know what was going on, around March, April last year.
Right.
And I couldn't work, and I couldn't walk that much. So then COVID's going on, and I'm a flight attendant, so the airline industry crashed. I wasn't sure if I was going to have a job.
Yeah.
And life literally said, stop.
Yeah.
Listen, shut up, pay attention. And it didn't start with me, I want to be a life coach. That's not how it started. I just started searching. I was just searching. What am I going to do? Like, I never thought, I work at a really good airline, and it's pretty, the retirement plan stuff is laid out. And I plan on doing other entrepreneur stuff, but I'll get to it one day. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'll add it. I'm comfortable, whatever. But when I was like, wait a minute, maybe possibly I may not have my job in 3 or 4 months. And then maybe possibly I need to figure out some things. And then I'm injured. So it's not like I'm a busybody. I'm always gonna go, 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 go. Yeah. And I was forced to look inside, which first hit with a bout of maybe 60 days. I was kind of depressed. I'm such an active person and I couldn't move. I was gaining weight. I was eating everything. We all got that COVID-15.
Yes, the COVID fluff, I call it. Yes.
And everything was going on, but it forced me, and I'm so grateful, because if I wasn't injured, I would have stayed working. I would have worked through the pandemic. I know me. I would have been picking up all the overtime, whatever. And I wouldn't have this force to look at my life. And it set me down, and I started just reading, and then it just kept trickling. The more and more I start looking, for what do I really want to do with my life? And I had wrote down in 2007, I always write goals and stuff. I wrote them in 2018 or 17. I was looking through some old papers and it popped up. It said life coach. I was like, I forgot I wanted to do that. And then I was having some personal conflict. Wow. And I couldn't communicate with the man of my life, and I couldn't communicate, and I was trying to break through, and I was just thinking about how he was taking on the stress and how he couldn't even express to me, who was one of the closest people to him, what was going on with him because of the programming. And I was like, I gotta help men. I gotta help them. And it just kind of, and then it just, I went.
And isn't that crazy? It's kind of like like a waterfall. It just keeps flowing. And once you find that right alignment and you listen to all the hints and the callings, it just kind of goes. Yeah. It's like, Casper said, keep it consistent. Sunshine said, find the answers within yourself. Yes. It's so unfortunate that we have negative people calling themselves life coaches when in fact they're using the platform to create more negativity. So happy to see a person coming from a positive standpoint with healing and productive solutions. Aw. Love it so much.
I want to be deemed, because so a lot of people, it's like they take this because it's unregulated territory, coaching,
right?
And so some people go into it, and a lot of people go into it as, how much money can I make? And of course, it's a job, it's a career, it's your entrepreneur, so you do want to, of course, make as much money as possible.
Yeah,
but it's not a sustainable. That's not a sustainable way to really do coaching, honestly.
And what made you decide to get into the type of coaching that you're doing? Because there's so many different types.
Right. Because in my personal experience, personal opinion, you cannot really, like I said, I can help you set a schedule. I can come to you like, hey girl, let's get your schedule together. We're going to work out. We're going to, I'm gonna help you, everything you need. We can get your schedule, work out, we can savings, we can plan out your entrepreneur. We can do that. But what happens when a motivation runs out?
Yeah.
Motivation always runs out. And usually it's some limiting or several limiting beliefs about what you feel like you can accomplish. And we have dual and conflicting identities and beliefs internalized. And we just have to know. One of us is like, hey, I want to be a millionaire. But the other person's like, but I hate rich people.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah.
I mean, and we, until we really start doing the work, you realize, like, why do I have these blockages? I'm doing everything. I took all the classes. I have the degrees.
Yeah.
I read the books, and I keep getting blockages. It's because you haven't really looked deep enough internally.
Yeah.
And so for me, the only way you're going to change is to do the transformational healing. And so I have been very familiar with energy work and transformation, and I love Coach. So I'm familiar with it, but I wasn't sure how to teach it to other people.
Oh, wow.
So, it was just like, I can help you, but I don't know how. I can't take it out of my brain and put it in your brain. So that's when it started. Like, I've gotten 3 certifications, like in different courses so far. Just completed one that I'm still recovering. It was so
a lot of information.
It was so much. I mean, it was like a download, like a 50-hour, 5-day neurotransformational coaching that we were just like, by the time you get out, you're just like, so if I'm talking a little slow, I may still be like, hold on, like it's taking me to come back.
Yeah. Well, it's so crazy too, because this style of coaching, I've realized that I've been kind of experiencing myself without even knowing it. I was experiencing it because there were certain things as far as like relationship wise that I recently was like, okay, I'm ready to have one. I'm ready to be like full for it. Let's do it. I've worked out all my issues. And then, stuff started like coming up and little things start popping back up again. And I was like, whoa, like where did that come from? I thought like I had moved on.
I cleared it.
I cleared it. It's gone.
Yeah, why are you here?
And then it was like, okay, no, I really need to realize it's not this other person that's like, stirring things up. It's really me, stuff that I really need to internally look at and work out and like really break it down to change those behaviors and patterns.
Yes. It's true. And, and we coined this term, and I don't know, somebody in my coaching class, I don't want to steal their term, but they said humans are like onions. So somebody said they're a humanion.
That's so cute. I'm always saying I'm like an onion, and it's really hard. Like you have to keep peeling. I've got so much to do.
It's honey. And when you think about it, that last layer is probably when you're on your deathbed. I mean,
yeah.
I hate to say it. Yeah. So buckle up and have fun. Don't turn it into something seriously, because at the end of the day, you can either just continue living as you are and trying to blame external circumstances, your outcomes, your behaviors, things that are external, that are just results from what's going internal. Or you could be like, let me just take it one day at a time and see what I can do to start work. And as soon as, like, I have clients that come in and we have one conversation. And I'm like, watch, you're going to get off this phone and your whole life's going to shift. And we haven't even done any work yet. But it's the awareness. Wow. All of a sudden, you opened up to awareness, and you have to take full accountability with a lot of love.
Yeah.
A lot of times you start knowing, like, oh my God, like, I don't know if you can curse in your channel, so I'm going to try to bleep it out.
You're fine.
All of a sudden you look at it, you're like, I am really effed up. And you just start like judging yourself. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe, you start looking at your behaviors, the things that you did for people. But that's what you were doing the best you could in your capacity at that time. And like, that's just how but you do take accountability for what you have done, what you're doing. And you look at yourself like, where did that come from? And start doing the work, Yeah.
And I love that you have to, like, the self-love, you have to realize that you did certain things you didn't know better, and you need to forgive yourself from that, because not loving yourself and being your number one fan is definitely, harmful.
Yes. Yes. And it's really hard to look at yourself objectively when you're judging yourself.
Yes.
It's and the thing about it is, what you're doing is literally looking at where you're at right now, and you're going down a timeline of your life and looking at like, oh my God. So at 6, I decided, when I asked my mom for chocolate cake and she told me no, at 6 years old, I decided that I shouldn't ask for what I want because whatever hurt my feelings. And then guess what? You forget, and you created this belief, and now you're 50 and you can't ask a woman or a man for what you need in a relationship because you feel like they're going to judge you or they're going to scream at you. Yeah. So I know it sounds simple, but we're walking around, because they say most of our beliefs are created between the ages of 6 and 7.
Wow.
Yeah. And so if you think about it, until you actually sit down and start like really digging into your beliefs, you're walking around with beliefs that you created.
Wow. I love it. Dropping gems. Oh my goodness gracious. Casper. Yes, it's a learning experience. Sunshine. Yes. Self-awareness, shifting that inner being to a positive state.
Thank you guys. Yes.
I love it. Such an amazing conversation. Yeah. And I kind of had like a deja vu for a second, a few minutes ago when you said something. I was like, wait, okay.
Tell me about it. What was it? What was your breakthrough? Give me the breakthrough. No.
Oh my God. There's just so much information. You were saying something. Yeah. And it was about, oh my gosh, it was about self-connecting and finding something from like years ago. And I just had this deja vu of you saying that comment and us having this conversation.
Yeah, no, seriously, that's usually, and what people don't understand, and this is something that I had to learn in doing this work. Honestly, I'm learning every day. But seriously, something that I had to learn was that your trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody is traumatized to some form of fashion. Everybody has some form of fashion of trauma because our poor little brains interpretate and decide things, and us humans.
Yeah.
So, but we feel like that the only people with the high level, if we were to put it on a scale, high level trauma are the only people who are really highly affected or decided things. But somebody with a low level trauma to you or me, you're like, that's nothing. It could drastically affect them for their whole life, their identity, their self-worth, their self-love, their self-value, their relationships. And it literally could be how they interpreted something that their parents or whatever said when they were a kid. And they grew up their whole life insecure, not allowing themselves to really be their full self. And they're like, well, nothing happened to me. I wasn't raped. I wasn't molested. I didn't get beat. And so they don't feel validated to have these insecurities, but we don't know.
Right.
Everybody's different. Like this coaching work, I can't come in and say, Jacqueline, I'm going to coach you today. Okay, I'm going to use this technique and this because I don't know, because you're a human.
Right.
Yeah. You know, like.
Yeah. Everyone's different.
Everyone's different.
We're all unique.
Yeah.
What word of advice would you give someone who, male, who is struggling, moving past his past? So there's a lot of things in the past that he can't seem to forgive himself, and he has a lot of self-hate and just doesn't see himself worthy.
Right. Oh, that's deep. Okay. The first thing I would tell men to do is to start practicing being vulnerable and feeling your emotion, because most men don't feel okay to feel the layers of emotion. They only usually feel okay to feel anger because that's acceptable and it's masculine, quote unquote.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So, and I always say this, and I'm looking at our time, so I'm always trying to be time conscious, but I always say this to people, like, if you're a man and you get an argument, you're a grown man and you get an argument with your homeboy and he says something that actually hurts your feelings, because you're human and your feelings get hurt. You don't be like, hey, bro, you hurt my feelings. They don't do that, even if that's exactly what it is.
That's true.
It's not deemed or considered masculine or whatever. So start finding spaces and people who you can start, number one, being okay with, ask for help. It's okay for you to ask for help. Every human needs help, whether it's a coach, whether it's a person in your life who you can look up to, who you can talk to. If you can do, some people need therapists, which I highly advocate for. Different types. Just ask for help outside of yourself, because you need a safe space that's outside of your own brain that you can talk.
And I love that you said that, to not be afraid to ask for help.
Yes. And start trying to express your emotions, and know that vulnerability is one of the sexiest things you could do as a man.
Yes, it is very sexy. We love men that show emotion.
Yes.
It's very sexy. And that's the thing too. It's like social media definitely can put some, like subliminal messages, that is saying that you have to be a certain way.
Yes, definitely. Just be yourself. You're a human.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. So what future things do you have coming up for you?
Oh, I have so many moving parts. Like I said, I've been off of work for 17 months. So I'm actually returning to work, but I'm building my brand right now. I was launching, but I pushed it back because of the moving parts of my life. But I plan on doing, I'm dropping a book probably next year. And that will be like my autobiography.
Nice.
But I'm also going to do a couple of ebook workbooks and start doing it where I can do an online form so I can be able to touch more. This is my time is limited. So I can touch more than one person at a time. So we could do like group classes. But I plan on doing like a brick and mortar in like the next 5 years. Because I want to do like coaching for kings, like YMCA. Because I want men to be able to look out and like know that if I type in coaching for kings, there's going to be a center right here where me, my sons, everybody can get support. And they're understood, and people are trained to understand this is, particularly for Black men, So, I mean, I have a lot of plans. But I am taking clients still. So I do one-on-one coaching right now. But I'm assuming in the next like 6 months, the way my business plan is written out, that I'll probably be on a larger scale of doing group coaching. Okay. So I can be able to touch more people than just doing the one-on-one. But right now I'm still doing one-on-one coaching, and I'm still taking some clients that way.
I love it. That's so exciting. Oh, thank you for saying it's such a great important interview. Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Yes, I know. And you have such beautiful energy, and you're just so warm and loving. And I just have so much love for you. So I'm super excited to see your journey and to see things unfold for you. Yes.
Thank you for allowing me the space on your platform and to share. And it was really fun vibing with you. So
yes. Was there anyone that you wanted to do a special shout out to?
Coach Sean Smith and Coach Michelle Moore. Yes, the two that just put us through this 50-hour rigorous training. I heart them. They know how much I love them. And if it wasn't for their leadership, I wouldn't have the tools and the clarity and the certainty that I have now and to be able to do this work. So I am extremely grateful for those two.
I love it. Yes. And I love like the domino effect, just one person at a time, and even more, and thousands and hundreds and millions taking over.
So if anybody want to find me right now, the easiest way to find me is on Instagram, Coaching for Kings, spelled exactly as it is. You can DM me at any time. Consultations are free, or if you just need an ear, I'm here. I'm human. I'm here. Just.
I love it. I love it. And I'll have your information posted too. So once the interview goes up and on social media, they can find you on there also. So everyone will have to follow and see your journey and see all the exciting things that you're up to. And we will definitely stay in touch. What is it that you want to be remembered for?
That's a good one. I don't know. What I want to be remembered for. You did tell me this, right? I'm supposed to be prepared. Supposed to have it written down, and I'm like, girl, listen, I want to be remembered for. I want to be remembered for being a Black woman who bridged the gap in our community between Black men and Black women, and knowing that they are supported by Black women first, because that's a whole nother topic we didn't touch. But there is this disconnect in a community between Black men and Black women. It's like, and I think male and women have that in general, but it's a disconnect. And I want to bridge that gap where we are here to support you on your journey. And I want to be, so they know that you are not alone. Your wives are here to support you. Your mothers are here to support you. Your daughters are here to support you. And so I want to be remembered for that, because I do see the men helping other men, but there's not many women that I've came across who are particularly working with supporting Black men on their journey. So I just
like you said, that's a whole nother conversation. I've actually heard this in the community doing interviews the last year. This has been brought up before. So it's very interesting to hear, and we might have to have another conversation.
I will be back. I promise. I'll write down more notes.
I love it. You are already such a huge inspiration, and you're already starting to fill that gap and letting people know that there's a safe space, and there's just so much love for you. You're illuminating the world with your presence.
Thank you so much. And I love your channel. I've watching you since you contacted me. So thank you for allowing me this space. I really appreciate it. And continue doing your work.
Thank you.
It's needed. These platforms are needed. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It has been so much fun and such a pleasure. And we will definitely stay in touch, and we will definitely have another conversation.
Okay. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching Live with Jacqueline Valdez, illuminating the world one voice at a time. Thank you guys. Lots of love and light. Take care. Appreciate it.